All right, let's dive into a pretty fascinating argument today. The idea is that the AI economy has actually had its own currency for years, but it's completely, fundamentally broken. And the solution? Well, it might already be here.
So let's just start with the central, provocative question from the source material. When did AI actually issue its first currency? I mean, it's a wild thought, right? We don't really think of AI as, a central bank. But the answer is pretty surprising.
You see, according to this piece, it happened years ago. There was no big announcement, no white paper, nothing like that. It happened the very first time an AI platform charged a user credits to run a prompt. That single moment, that was a currency event.
And this really gets us to the heart of the problem. AI already has a currency, but it's an accidental one. It was built for convenience, not by any kind of grand design.
And that currency, of course, is AI credits. I mean, think about it. OpenAI, Midjourney, Anthropic, Google, you name it. Every major platform runs on its own little internal credit economy. You buy their credits, you spend them on prompts, and then you buy more. They absolutely function like money, but, and this is a big but, with one massive critical flaw.
And that flaw is what the source calls the gift card problem. This is exactly where the entire system really starts to break down.
Now this analogy is just perfect. Your OpenAI credits are totally useless if you want to make Midjourney images, right? Your Google credits won't get you anywhere on AWS. Each one of these platforms has built its own walled garden, a siloed system where your money is only good in their store. It is literally designed to lock you in.
And this table just brilliantly illustrates how inconsistent this all is. This isn't just a lack of standards. The source actually calls it deliberate incoherence. The price of a single credit is all over the place, which makes it almost impossible for you, the user, to figure out what anything really costs.
And get this, a single AI credit can cost you half a cent on some big enterprise plan, or it could cost you $1.25 for one premium image generation. That's a 250 times spread in value on the exact same named unit. I mean, no real currency on planet Earth could ever work like that.
So, okay, if the current credit system is totally broken, what's the alternative? And that brings us to the hunt for a true functional currency for this new AI economy.
The source makes this fantastic historical parallel. Every time a new resource becomes absolutely critical, think oil, electricity, even data, it follows the same path. It starts as a product, becomes a commodity, and then eventually it needs a universal way to settle transactions. The argument here is that AI compute has finally reached that point. So your first thought might be, what about crypto? But the source argues it is completely the wrong tool for this job. This slide compares crypto to a proposed alternative called KAELUM or KLM, and you can see across every key metric you'd want for a real commerce currency, like stability and a clear function, crypto just doesn't measure up because it was built for speculation, not for production.
And this quote right here is the absolute crucial point. The AI economy is a productive economy. It actually makes stuff, code, art, analysis. You need a currency that's tied to that productive value, not one that's just based on a belief about future hype.
So if credits are broken and crypto is the wrong tool, then what does the right currency look like? Well, the source argues it should be a currency that's actually governed by intelligence itself. So let's lay out the design principles for this ideal AI currency. It has to be stable. It has to be function first, not speculative. It needs to work everywhere inside the ecosystem and be governed by actual intelligence, all while playing by clear legal rules.
And here's the twist. The author argues this isn't some far-off theoretical wish list. It's a point-by-point description of a currency that has already been built, KAELUM or KLM.
So how does this whole field work? Well, the entire system is governed by an AI called KATE. That's the KAELUM AI Transaction Engine. So instead of a static rulebook or a simple blockchain, KATE is an active, intelligent layer that is dynamically managing the currency's value, compliance, and how rewards get distributed, all in real time. So let's look at how this all comes together to build a completely new kind of AI economy and create the financial plumbing for this whole emerging world.
And the ambition here is pretty significant. The source lays out these gross transaction value targets, and they're aiming for £750 million within 3 years. So yeah, this isn't some small-scale experiment. It's designed to be a massive economic ecosystem.
So how does this actually solve that gift card problem we talked about? Well, first, its closed-loop system means KLM is universal. It works everywhere in the ecosystem. It also has regulatory clarity, operating as recognized e-money right in the UK. And finally, there's a finite supply, a hard cap, which prevents inflation and keeps it stable. Now this is maybe the most powerful idea of all. In the last big tech boom, the data economy, we, the users, we generated all the value and we got nothing for it. The KAELUM model is designed to completely flip that script with a performance reserve that returns a share of transaction value back to all the participants in the ecosystem.
And this quote just perfectly captures that shift in thinking. We're moving away from a system where humans buy credits for AI to use to a system where AI itself governs a currency that circulates value throughout its entire productive economy.
Which leaves us with this final massive question. If this whole argument is right, and the infrastructure for a stable universal currency for AI commerce actually exists now, what does that unlock? What happens to an entire economy when it finally gets the money it was designed for? Now that is something to think about.